Hi, my name is Thomas Tony. I live in Scottsville, Kentucky, and I've had a pretty similar history with all things government and police and sheriff's department, like as everybody else has. That being, I've been pulled over a couple of times. I've never been charged with a crime, but I've also never really been involved with the city or my county or my state even. I'm on a few mailing lists for my representatives, like my state representatives, but other than that, I barely even know who my representatives are. But I hope to change that, and I hope that other people out there change that, and I hope that this video can have an effect in that. And so I'm going to share my experience and just some things that I've learned, and I hope that I can bring awareness to this issue. This is a Flock automatic license plate reader camera. This is a photograph that I took myself here in Scottsville, Kentucky. You can see the hotel that it's posted in front of. And this was the first automatic license plate reader camera by Flock Security. I've probably seen others that I didn't know were automatic license plate reader cameras, but this is the first automatic license plate reader camera that I knew it was that I saw. These cameras take a picture of your car, and then they zoom in on the license plate, and then they analyze using AI any bumper plate stickers you have, any dents in your car, the window tint, and they keep track of the date, the time, the location, and they know what state that your license plate was issued from, and they use that to build a fingerprint of your vehicle in their system that they use to track where you were at this point in time. And over time, as you pass by these more and more, it builds a better, more accurate fingerprint of your specific vehicle, and it knows generally your behaviors, and it uses that to track who is more likely to do this crime at this point in time, who are the suspects of this crime when we know it's in the area, and it helps translate that information to the police department. Not only those characteristics about your vehicles, though, they also have disclosed in their patent that they have intent to use this AI to look at your race, your gender, your height, your weight, the clothing that you're wearing, and identifying people too. So it's not just cars, it's people. These cameras are being used by over 5,000 different law enforcement agencies as posted on their own website, and that's like police departments, sheriff departments, and it's not just law enforcement agencies that use this. It's private companies like FedEx, companies like Home Depot, Lowe's. They use these cameras to track the customers who are coming in and out of their parking lots and the things that happen like inside their stores even. The customers grant Flock a limited, non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free license to use this data that's recorded by these cameras however Flock wants. And they do provide a list of how they use it generally, but they also explicitly say that they can do whatever they want with it. They also explicitly say that everything is owned by the customer. So they're not responsible for anything revolving what's going on with your data, how it's shared, how it's used. That all falls onto the owner or the person who is the customer of Flock. So your local law enforcement agency, your police department, your sheriff department, or the grocery store that decides to use it, all of that liability falls directly onto them. Flock doesn't take any responsibility. Automatic license plate reader devices help police departments solve crime by comparing the license plates of vehicles that pass by against hot lists comprising of license plate information from Amber Alerts, the National Crime Information Center, and the Center for Missing and Exploited Children. They also can include license plate information that is specifically entered into the system as being related to an investigation by the police department. Flock Safety, however, takes this technology and turns it into a product that funnels all of the collected information into a database that connects 75% of those 5,000 communities to one another through a surveillance dragnet that, like I mentioned before, looks at every aspect of your vehicle using AI photography, and it builds a vehicle fingerprint that every time you drive past it, it gets a better read on your movements. Flock safety allows any officer from any municipality that is connected to that database the ability to perform searches through the system for photographs and timestamps of any vehicles in the past 30 days, unless your police department specifically requires them to delete them sooner than that. They can filter these searches by any of the characteristics mentioned before, not just license plate numbers, and Flock Safety provides no tools to make sure that these searches are done with proper authorization, with good cause, or for legitimate work purposes. This opens the door for many, many terrible possibilities. A few of those possibilities include stalking personal acquaintances, tracking political opponents, keeping lists of churchgoers, monitoring public gatherings, wrongfully convicting innocent people, or any other means of government overreach. We have all been taught since we were children that the Founding Fathers crafted the Constitution to prevent the common person, like you and me, from being afflicted by the evils of a too powerful government. Over time, though, we have been told that we must trade some of that protection from those prying government hands in exchange for a better economy or for less terror. Multiple studies, though, have shown that surveillance only helps with minor crimes like theft. Surveillance has no proven effect on violent crime. Instead of preventing crimes, these surveillance cameras create a powerful new tool that the people we trust most can use to commit crimes against us. There have been documented cases of police officers using these Flock safety cameras to stalk their ex-girlfriends or their ex-wives, and as well as their new partners. This is a new technology. It's only been developed within the past decade. As it becomes more accurate and more commonly adopted, there will definitely be more cases of officers using this technology for their own personal gain. And documentation from Flock's official website says that auditing is important and that every single search conducted is put into a system that allows people to come in there and audit their system. Despite this, however, police and sheriff departments all around the country tell people the same thing that they told me. We don't have access to that. We just get to see what goes through the system. That's what Sheriff Brandon Ford here in Scottsville and Allen County told me on November 5th, 2025. The police department was a little less specific. They said, I cannot give you what I do not have. But it was very clear that either they don't know how to access these or Flock is lying and they don't have access to these. Whether that is the case and that they don't have access, or whether this issue is due to training programs being skipped, not provided, or marked as optional, and so people just didn't do them, maybe people just didn't even pay attention, If this is an issue with training and with not being informed about access, then it's important that police departments around the country, sheriff departments around the country, absolutely address this with the utmost haste, because our tax dollars need to be going towards something that is not facilitating a surveillance state with no possibility for oversight and no possibility for transparency. What I do know is that Kentucky's Open Records Act covers virtually every single document that any company or any organization with more than 25% government funding has access to, looks at, requests, or even holds on to. Our city and our county have access to these documents. They either do not know how to access them or they are intentionally covering them up. I know this because I've seen the audit logs. I've seen the audit pools from hundreds of other communities, from other cities, from other states, from other counties. I have seen the open records requests and I have seen the data provided. I know that our county has access to this because Flock is not going to come in here and say Allen County, Kentucky does not have access to do an audit unless Allen County, Kentucky said we don't want people to audit us. Alright, let me tell you guys a story. This is in the town of Evanston, Illinois, and this is a photograph taken on or around September 23rd, 2025. You see the Enterprise van and the guy standing on the ladder. He is installing a Flock camera onto this pole. You can see these other two cameras. This one right here is connected to the grid, and this one over here, you can see the paint marking that it has freshly been installed very recently. Those cameras were taken at about the same day. But here you can see on August 26th, the city of Evanston and the Evanston Police Department deactivated all 19 of those cameras. The city no longer wanted to collect license plate information after the Illinois Secretary of State audited Flock's system and discovered that despite official wording from Flock saying that no federal agents had access to this, federal agents did in fact have access to the Flock database. Flock Safety had set up an online transparency portal for the citizens of Evanston to monitor how many cameras were active in their area, as well as how many photographs of license plates that these cameras had taken that were being stored in the system, which, like I mentioned before, the default is 30 days. That's what they had stuck with. So an organization called the Evanston Roundtable started tracking this website on August 28th, 2 days after their shutdown. And so they noticed that the cameras have been turned off for 2 days now, so there should be 28 days worth of active camera footage, and they noticed there were 439,542 vehicles detected over that 28-day period. They discovered that to reach zero by 30 days post-shutdown, that number would need to drop by an average of 15,700 every day. But on September 23rd, when they decided to check in and look at it, they noticed that it had only reduced by about 10,924 per day, meaning it looks like some of these cameras haven't been turned off. In the master sales agreement, which is provided to every customer who purchases a contract with Flock Safety, it states that the customer is not permitted to remove, reposition, reinstall, tamper with, adjust, or otherwise take control or possession of Flock hardware. It also states that the customer shall not directly or indirectly reverse engineer, decompile, disassemble, or otherwise attempt to discover or recreate the source code, object code, underlying structure, ideas, or algorithms of the Flock system or any software. So they don't want you to know how this works. They don't want you to be allowed to go out there and touch it. The city of Evanston cannot remove these cameras. They cannot go out there and touch them because Flock is a company that has a bigger budget and a bigger capacity to sue somebody than most small cities have. They don't even know how these things work. They don't have access to go in there and check if they're turned on. They have no idea how to tell if they are turned on. It seems like from the online transparency portal that maybe some of them are turned on. And that is a problem big enough that the city of Evanston felt the need to get people out there to cover those things with trash bags. That was their only recourse. Flock Safety brought these devices into Evanston, and when the people decided that they wanted them gone, the company did not comply. The terms of the sale made it so that way Flock didn't have to come out there and remove them, and the city couldn't do anything about it. They just had to wait. The city doesn't even know how these devices work. Flock won't tell them, and Flock won't let you go out there and figure it out. If a company is going to be providing a service that is funded by the taxpayers, it is a bare minimum requirement that they have a clean track record of providing for the customer. This case highlights the fact that Flock Safety, the information that they collect on me and on you, is the product that they are selling. And they don't care about customer service. They just care about collecting their product and about training their AI. If you have any thoughts about what you saw today, please contact me down below. I hope you all have a great rest of your day.